Hello, my name is Shroomy, and today I will be recreating New Leaf's Main Street, but in New Horizons. And in case you didn't know, this is part 3 of 5. I'll go ahead and link the first two parts above. The first is a tour of my New Leaf town, and the second is me speed building that entire town in New Horizons. So in this video, not only will I be recreating Main Street itself, but I'll also be recreating the insides of all the stores in Main Street. I'll also be recreating the buildings in town, such as retail, the police office, the campsite that came with Welcome Amiibo, and, of course, the cafe. All pretty exciting stuff. And this upper portion of my town has been sitting empty for a while now, so to celebrate, I figured I would fill it with 100 fireworks and try to light them as fast as possible. So here is that. That is why this is happening. And a big thank you to my husband and two of my sisters for helping me with this. Alright, let's jump right in with our first build, the police station. This was more of a lost and found in the game, and I think they would also tell you what visitor was visiting. Alright, let's get started. First off, I am laying down the flooring of it to really denote the space and create the mood, I guess. And then the furniture goes in. There's this desk over here, and there's a bunch of stuff on the desk. I just went with the homework set and the phone because I think it represented it best. Then we have the locker that was in the corner, and we need our benches to go. Oh, I decided to expand it one more. And then put the simple panels out to create a backdrop. I tried putting them in the front too, but then you couldn't see in, so just the back as a backdrop. And here goes the outdoor benches, customized so they look more like the benches in the police station, where all the lost items would go. And I had to fetch some lost items, I forgot to. So this is me going to my storage and just grabbing whatever to be those items. And I just ended up going with some wallpaper and flooring and a flower bag and a random piece of furniture. Pretty typical of what you would find. And last thing is an office chair. And there is the build. Woohoo! Next up we have retail. This is where you would mostly sell your items, and this is where you would go to get your items customized. And you could also resell items there to your villagers and to other people playing in your town. Alright, so first of course the flooring goes in. In retail, there were two different floor colors. I just went with the brown one. And there are the back panelings. Oh, I actually made all these patterns. I'll link my code thing down below. And there is the tool shelf going in, and a workbench, which was just so perfect for him. And I shoved that dresser in just to be that table that you saw all the wood on in there. And here goes the stools. Here's blue for Cyrus over here. And then there's the pink one for Reese. And I'm going to finish this off by putting wood there, just like it was in New Leaf. But, you know, there are long things of wood, which we don't have anymore. And then I'm putting down this blue pattern. They would use this to sell things on, but they also used it for like where they were refurbishing it, recoloring it. So in this case, you can imagine that it's recoloring or the other one. All right, there we go, all done. Isn't it great? I love it so much. All right, and next up we have the train station. This was basically the airport back then. It just took you to other people's towns, and that was it. As always, we're gonna start by putting our flooring down. I only had like a 2x4 there, so I decided to expand it out a little bit. That was the hardest part of doing these ones outside, is that there just wasn't a lot of room. Some will be inside, but then the challenge is that it's not the right dimensions, but either way it's a challenge. Putting in some fencing, and then I decided to expand it because there definitely wasn't room. There needed to be a locker here. There's also like a schedule posting time thing that was like just for decoration that was supposed to be there, but there was no room. And there's the podium that Porter would stand at. And I put this clock down, but there just wasn't enough room for it to be where I wanted it to, so I ended up expanding everything back just one more square, and that gave me the room to move the clock where I wanted to. Well, after I took away a fence. Then I could move it where I wanted to. And there's the build, and I was not happy with it. I put this sign out because there was like a notice board in front, but I don't like that either. And then I decided to do a train. I made it a little bit better, still not in love. The next target is the Dream Suite. This one I was pretty excited for, but all the items are so very different. Before, instead of just having a bed, you actually went somewhere where you would do your dream. And the couch was for uploading your dream, and the bed was for viewing other dreams. So, This is going to be another outside one, so I'm laying that tile down. That is one thing that's nice about the outside ones, is that I did custom tiles. You could do it for inside too, but I was way too lazy. And there goes that right up. And our first furniture goes in. I decided to do those wooden blocks because, like, from far away, they can look like all the little potions she had out and things. Hopefully. And there's that humidifier. Not as cool as the gyroid one, but still cool. And I had to do those plants because the ones that were there before aren't there before. I should have done a pattern on that poolside bed, but I was way too lazy. And this was my best recreation of the, like, triple cubby shelf thing she had. I'm accidentally putting the bathrobe on. That totally happens, though, whenever you try to display clothes. But yeah, those two together remind me of the 3 cubbies, and I think it's a nice pairing. I think it looks good like that. Alright, and there's the sign-in paper, and for the other, like, bunch of potions, I did the revolving spice rack, which I think that also works very, very well. And here are the cypress trees. These were not in the actual building, but they were in front, so I'm trying to replicate that. And I tried to do the fences too, but they came out too far, and I didn't like the look of it, so I'm going to come back to that idea, but we're going to end right there and call that a good one for now. Next up is kicks. This is where you would buy your shoes and your socks originally, because before New Leaf you couldn't buy those, and they made his own store, and now I guess it went to Abel's. Alright, laying the tile down as always. It's getting kind of repetitive. I think the shop was a 4x4. Maybe it was a 4x3. But I'm taking about the same amount of room the shop actually took up. Well, the inside's not the same. We got TARDIS situations with all these buildings. And I tried to put these boxes on top to be the shoe boxes, but apparently you can't put small cardboard boxes on top of other things. So that wooden end table is just going to be empty. Oh, and I forgot to grab socks and shoes. So I just took a quick trip to buy the stock for Kick Shop. Yes. Perfect. Alright, there we go with that one. It's looking pretty good. Our next Main Street build will be Shampoodle. This is someone you went to get your hair changed. I'm glad they got rid of her because she just asked cryptic questions and then you gave answers and then she was like, yeah, this hair works. So I prefer the mirror for sure. Anyway, of course, we're laying the tile down first, as always. This one, I'm not doing any panels simply because I only have 3 spaces, so there's just not enough room. I actually had to take a lot of stuff out of here. Like, there was a magazine rack I took out. There was another one of these waiting chairs that I had to take out just because there wasn't room. But here is the gist. There was also supposed to be another cart, but it just seemed too crowded, so I decided to just go with the one. This build actually, it turned out way better than I thought it would. I was scared of this one for sure, but those orange seats were perfect and it turned out lovely. I wish I could have made it rise, but we're on the 3rd level and you can't get up to the 4th level, so. Next up is Katrina's. She was a psychic in the game, and when you went to her, she gave you your reading for what your luck was and helped you change your luck to good luck. The luck mechanic is gone now, so she's not necessary. Maybe they'll bring it back. But here's this build, and this is our first indoor one, and that magic rug was a lot smaller than I thought it would be. I was hoping to take up the whole room, and then it was like, nope, that's small. Anyway, just a bunch of tables and a bunch of pots and a bunch of fire. That is what Katrina's about. This one was hard because there's only one type of pot. Even in past games you had 3 different types of pots. You couldn't customize them, but anyway, so I did the goldfish for another type of pot, and then I did the aroma pots for another type of pot, and then I put pots on top of turkey day stands to get the taller pots. It just looks like garbage. All these different crappy pots together, like, it doesn't look that cool. In the game, it looked so cool, and this is just like, okay. Yeah, you're a little bit obsessed with pots. And I did a board game because there are no cards, and I don't know, it's just a garbage version of it, but it's the closest I could get. Moving on from that mess, we have Club LOL. This is where you could go at night and, like, dance and kind of party around with villagers. And during the day, you could get reactions here. So we are going to recreate this. Unfortunately, there are no gyroids in the game. I decided to do this build and just leave those place is blank because I'm hoping for guy rates soon. Maybe next update, but that's what I tell myself every time. I went with this wall because I had no windows and I thought that was good for dark. And the steel flooring I felt fit better, but I like the look of this one more, so I went with this one. And these diner stools are replacing the little sleek chairs, the DJ turntable for DJ KK, of course, and then 2 amps, because there's 2 amps in the corner. I wish I could have done a stage. I think you could pull it off with patterns, but it's just a pain, and I'm running out of pattern slots, so... And then you just have a bunch of lights. This is a pretty simple build, but it actually looks pretty good when it's all done. TV for the projector. Not as cool as KK's projector, but what can you do? Alright, there's the build. Pretty simple, but still pretty dang cool. And this one doesn't have any reactions, this character, but if she did, I'd have her dancing. Well, working out. As I'm sure you can tell, we're doing the post office next. This is where you went to mail and save letters and get any DLC furniture. There was also the ATM there in the corner, ABD, I guess. Alright, starting out, I'm gonna change this wall later. I got like a wall that actually matches the post office, but I couldn't find it. It's behind the house. But I go get it later, okay? And then there's just these desks. This one was hard. Like, none of the furniture really looked that much like the furniture in here. So, it's all very much improvised. Like, that game is supposed to be the ABD. Yeah. These purses, though, are perfect for the little, like, mail carrier bags, I guess, that were on the wall. I was pretty happy with that one. And I was able to do the scale. Oh, I forgot to change over the floor. There's the floor being changed over. And once again, I planned to have the boxes up on the counter thing, but they couldn't go up, so they ended up just staying on the floor over there. And as I mentioned before, the proportions are not working out inside because it's so much bigger. So I'm gonna come... Oh, there's the wall. So I'm gonna come back in with another table. It's not accurate, but it does fill the space more and make it feel less weird instead of just being like, okay. And there's me. I made a door. It looks so dumb, but like I needed to have something there, and there was a door in New Leaf, and I'm so bad at using the panels. Anyway, next up, we're recreating Nook's Homes. This is where you went to buy different exterior pieces for your house so you could customize what the outside of your house looked like. Anyway, yeah, the interior of Nook Homes does not look great, and I'm just, spoiler warning, this is not gonna look great, because it's just gonna look like some random junk. So there is the Happy Home Academy stall thing, and that cannot go up on the desk, so now it's on the floor, and the pot will sit there alone. So that arch is supposed to be like the exterior front thing that they showed, and those little screens are supposed to be the wall that goes around your house, and then those panels are supposed to be the doors, and the birdhouse is supposed to be the mailbox. Like, I feel like those are all pretty good. And the house in New Leaf, you could change the shape of your house. So that's what that dollhouse is. It's modeling the shape of the house that was on sale that day. And you could also choose the, like, brick pattern that went around your house. So that's what that is right there. And there you have it. It looks like just a bunch of random junk, but that's what you can do with Nook Homes, I guess. Like, coming up is the cafe. I was really excited for this one, although the cafe is quite plain. I'm sure you've heard everyone talk about this. If you don't know what it is, you just had coffee here. And I guess you could get a part-time job, but like for some reason we're all very nostalgic for it. Anyway, going into this one is not too hard. I wasn't sure what to do with the wall, and that's what I ended up doing. And we're just gonna use these den desks to make up the whole counter for Brewster, the Brewski. And we have some velvet stools going down. These are a little fancier than what he had, but they're red and they're stools, so that trophy case is just gonna be his dishware that was back there before. And now I'm moving on to putting all the little things that were on the counter. Yeah, they're mostly the same things. I guess the spice rack thingy It's just a bunch of random crap he had on the counter, and I put out coffees for people. Those aren't always there, but if someone's there, there's a coffee. And here's the little side table area that he has set up over yonder. And a little spice rack for whatever crap was on the table. And a magazine rack in the corner, which is significantly smaller than the actual one. And there's that same door that looks like crap, but there was a door there and I had to fill that space. So there you go. It's pretty warm and cozy. Alright, and those are all our builds except for the campsite. So now I'm going to be going into doing Main Street, making Main Street look like Main Street the best that I can. It's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be a perfect reflection, mostly because of the path. But anyway, I'm building the cliff out around the museum the way it was, and I'm just building this out far enough that you can't see the edges. I'm not going all the way with it. And there was this like pond by the museum. Perspective makes it look really cool in New Leaf, but seeing that we can't like fake perspective here, this is gonna look okay, but not as good, not nearly what the New Leaf version was, but it's gonna look okay. And we're gonna be okay. Alright, here's some pathing going into the museum, and this is when I started pathing for the whole Main Street area. As I said, the path is gonna look like garbage because they have like the natural path. I'm sure I could find the natural pathing. I've seen people using it, but I'm out of slots here. There's not a lot to go around, so we're just using the dirt, and it looks like garbage, but close enough. And now I'm going in New Leaf. The pathing wasn't this cobblestone, it was like these blocks, but once again, the slots, there's not a ton of them, so instead of using the stone or making the stone or whatever, finding someone else who did the stone, I'm just using the cobblestone. It's already there, I'm already using it in my town, so I'm just gonna use it here too. And I'm filling out the cobblestone around here. It doesn't necessarily need it, but I thought it would look better when I put those gates around. And yes, I love how that fencing looks. That was a great idea, and I love it. And now I'm creating the sort of alleyway that led to Katrina's, because it just would not be the same without it being like all closed off and like back alley-esque, but not quite. And I'm putting up this concrete to replicate the alley thingy, and same with over here, just trying to make it more closed off and less house-like. And it doesn't get all the way there, but it gets some of the way there. And here are street lights. These don't look like what they look like on Main Street, but... And there's the garden bench going in, and I am rounding out this corner. Normally it looked out onto the ocean, but now we got a beach that it's gonna look out on. And there's the fence. It's the same fence that was in New Leaf, so that is pretty dang cool. Just going around. And there's some fencing. And that shop sign, I'm gonna put a label on eventually. I'm just too lazy. More fencing going in. Yeah, I went around and did a lot more fencing here or there, and it really helped. Like, there wasn't fencing here in the game, but like, there was too much space here and it didn't look good, and I put those fences down, and I feel like it really helps just bring it together. I've never believed in fences so much. And like, the fences like redeemed this area somehow. Alright, and with that, I'm gonna count all those builds done, and we're gonna move on to the campsite. Woot, 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 woot. This was introduced in Welcome Amiibo. Here you could get visitors' RVs and buy some random items. Or just chill with Harvey, because he's chill. Chill as can be. Okay, starting out, I'm just placing all those items that were there before. This one was easy. They had all the items that they did before. Bonfires, log benches, all good, all easy. None of this was stressful to get. And then I'm creating his little like shopping area. He'd have 2 items every day that you could buy with Meow coupons, which you earn by doing tasks, kind of like Nook Miles are earned. This is the firewood that's up on the item thingy, and there's the bird house that's up on the item thingy. And fun fact, the drink right there was introduced with Welcome Amiibo, so good for it to be sold. And here's me trying to make the house. It looks like hot garbage, but I tried. And there's this little waterfall river that wraps around the camp in the background, so I'm recreating that here. Unfortunately, you can't do waterfalls off of the 4th cliff, but you do it off the 3rd cliff, so that looks nice. Definitely not close to the same as the river in the game, but we're making attempts. And this is when trees and bushes start going in. The whole thing is just like surrounded by trees and very forested, which is so lovely. So I'm going to try and put a good amount of trees in. And there's more fencing going in and trees going in along bottom. And with that, the campsite is done and we are officially done with everything. And now the big reveal. Here we are, a recreated Main Street in 1080p. I hope you enjoyed seeing it be made. In part 4, I'll be attempting to recreate the 4 houses from my new leaf town, attempting because all the furniture series are different now and some don't have replicas of the old ones. So we'll see how that goes. I'll also be announcing the theme of my next island speed build in part 4. It's between 2 ideas right now and I'm pretty excited for both, honestly. And in part 5, I'll be doing side-by-side shots of the recreation versus my original town to see how they compare and kind of reviewing and talking about what I think in the end. Alright, if any of that interests you, go ahead and subscribe. This is an Animal Crossing channel. I make just straight up Animal Crossing content. And I just have to say a huge thank you to my subscribers. Seriously, it has been crazy. I kind of stagnated at like 50 subscribers for a while. I was kind of wondering if I should stop making videos, if anyone found any worth in these. And now it's doubled. Wow, I think it's 128 now, which that came out of nowhere, so thank you so much. I want to be happy about it, but I'm honestly a little bit in denial. But thank you. It's good to be validated for sure, and it definitely makes me more motivated to keep going. As much as I enjoy making these, it takes time, and sometimes I would wonder if it's worth it, but as long as people are enjoying them, I will continue. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.